Over the years, I've found myself rearranging rooms on a whim, obsessing over changing my hair, and thinking about new tattoos and piercings. It might seem like a simple desire to refresh, but I think there's more beneath the surface. I have this constant urge to reshape my world, and I don't really know why. I'm Kate, I'm a therapist, and today we need to talk about this feminine urge for change. I mean, what is it with changing our hair, our skin routine, rearranging our rooms, and I guess really changing our world? Lately, I've been finding life to be a little dull. My life seems to be full of waiting right now, waiting for the right moments, for change to happen, and for the results to be seen. In a way, I feel like I'm chasing something that does not want to be reached. Something needs to change. So about a year ago, I quit my job and started doing YouTube full time. And recently I reached over 1,000 subscribers and one video hit over 60K views. And I know it's a small thing still, but it feels big to me and I think it deserves some celebration. Over the years and the big moments of my life, I usually do something to kind of mark the journey. I've chased this thing for so long, and finally having it become real, it doesn't really ever feel like what I expected it to be. There's no huge celebration, no giant check. It just feels like a normal day. You smile, you laugh, and you move on to the next thing. I don't really know why I have this urge to do something crazy like get a tattoo or a piercing or even something temporary like changing my hair or rearranging a room. But I hear this a lot from my clients as well, especially the women. So it feels like some kind of universal thing. But regardless, I want to do something to mark the occasion. So I've been thinking about getting my second holes pierced in my ears for probably a few years now. And I thought this celebration would be a perfect moment to go ahead and pull the trigger and just do it. You know, I haven't had the best luck with piercings in my life. I got my ears pierced when I was like 4, like everyone else at Claire's, by a disgruntled worker. I was probably crying my little 4-year-old eyes out loudly. And this was just the experience we had in the 90s. Hence, when I got my nose pierced, I was celebrating getting my therapy license, but I wanted to go to a real piercer at a real tattoo shop. And so I took my big girl self and I drove myself to the tattoo salon and I was gonna get my nose pierced. I wasn't gonna cry. I was like, it's not gonna hurt. It's gonna be fine. Even if it does, it's fine. Listen, I took it like a champ. I was great until I stood up. And this was super embarrassing because no one knew what was going on for me. I checked out, I paid, and then I was like, I'm gonna pass out. I did eat beforehand. So I got into my little car that I drove myself and I just reclined the seat back and I was like, I'm gonna pass out. I'm just gonna sit here until I can drive myself home because how else am I gonna get home? So 20 minutes later, that's what I did. I did drive myself home, but this was not the experience I wanted. And you know, to make matters worse, I didn't really get the response I was looking for. I was looking for a, wow, that looks so good on you, or wow, that makes you look edgy or cool, or I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting I don't know, pump me up, say I look great, awesome. No, instead I almost put my mom into a coma, probably gave her a heart attack, oops. And I was just met with oh, it's cute. We all know what cute means. And all this to say, this was supposed to be a celebration about me. So I've kind of been dragging out this getting my second holes pierced because I don't want it to be like last time. But recently, I've kind of found a solution. On my routinely morning Instagram scroll, like everyone does, I found this company called Rowan. So things I liked about Rowan, and we'll go through this pretty fast because then I'm going to explain to you why I like these things about Rowan. 1, it's girly. The shop is girly. Last time I got pierced in a circus-themed tattoo parlor. Not fun. 2, only nurses pierce your ears. We'll talk about that in a second. 3, there's no guns. This isn't Claire's. We're using a better form of piercing. And 4, they use hypoallergenic jewelry, so you have the best case scenario for healing and everything else. Why all these things were important to me? Well, like I said, the last time I got pierced, I was next to some brosif talking about brosif things while I got a needle shoved into my nose. And I was nervous and he was talking about dumb things and I could hear him and it felt like there was too much pressure on me because like everyone could see me. I don't know. I didn't like it. But two, I like the fact that they have nurses piercing me. I know there are people that are trained to do piercings, okay? I do understand that and I went to one and I thought she did a great job, honestly. Like she didn't have any problems, but she also didn't explain a lot to me. We just kind of did it and I was a little shocked by the experience. I feel like I'm biased, but I feel like nurses have a little bit more bedside manner. They're like, this is what I'm doing. Listen, I just really want my hand held and said, you're doing a great job, sweetie. That's all I want to hear, okay? And nurses can do that for me. But also, if something goes wrong, who better to deal with me than a nurse, okay? If my ear becomes super bloody, they're like, oh, honey, that's normal. It's okay. This is what blah, blah, blah does in the ear. You have a lot of vasculature or capillaries. This is just, it's okay. It's just going to bleed for a little bit and then it's done. Like, I want the medical science explanation, okay? The piercer is not going to have that for me. The nurse will. And then the whole no guns thing. This is important to me. And I saw on their website, it said no guns. But it did say hand pressurized device. And I was like, what is this? But it also seemed like I had the option to do a traditional needle piercing if I wanted to. And when we're talking about guns, we're talking about piercing guns, okay? Honestly, it felt like this company was a little too good to be true. And it felt like I stumbled across a unicorn. I've also seen it in multiple locations. I've seen it in the mall a couple times and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. I would do it there. And then I don't. You know, I'm kind of tired of just looking at it and thinking about it and weighing all the cost benefit analysis. Yeah, I think it's time. Okay, I'm doing it. Did it hurt? A little. Is it annoying to care for? Kinda. Does it hurt to sleep? Yes. Will it take time to heal? Well, yeah. Do I regret it? No. But I didn't really make this video to answer questions about piercings. I want to talk about why I felt like I needed to do this. Being a therapist has really affected me in the way I think about things. So obviously there's some deeper levels to why I wanted to get my ears pierced. You know, I probably waited about 4 years with this idea in my head before doing it. And I kept putting it off because, well, I think I kept waiting for other people to agree with me, to think that it was also a
good idea.
I don't think I was afraid of making a mistake per se, but I do feel like I was looking for permission from other people to do this thing that I really wanted to do, even though I'm an adult. And at this point, I'm 30. It's my money, my body, and my life. You know, I don't really need anyone's permission to do anything. Why do this drastic thing now? Why do I feel the need to punctuate this moment in my life to signify or memorialize this one moment? I think it has to do with a sense of control. I don't like that answer because I want to believe that I am in control of my life. But you know, I don't know if it's being a woman. I don't know if it was being a young woman for so long. And maybe now I just feel like I'm an adult. So this feeling is new to me. But I don't think I actually feel a sense of control most of the time in my life. And I wanted to change that. I wanted to do something about it. And that can be very empowering. But I find it to be a little sad as well. I can remember being a young woman and I couldn't control anything. I couldn't control what job I got. I couldn't control how people treated me. I couldn't control how they saw me. I tried. I wore heavy makeup. I dyed my hair darker. I went with funky colors. And you know, you just aren't gonna change the way other people see you. You're just not, because you're not them. And I think it's more important to figure out what you want and what you feel like is necessary in your own life, and that does give you some control. And maybe it's just you need to feel special. Maybe it's just you need to feel something new. You need something new in your life. Or maybe you just need to memorialize like a big lesson. But I feel like for me, turning 30 was that big thing. And, you know, reaching a goal on YouTube was just another reason why to mark this occasion. You know, I did this thing so that I didn't have to abide by the system of healthcare and do all these things, and I could say what I wanted to in sessions. Even though this isn't a session, this is not therapy, like I do get to say what I want and what I think, and I think that's more of a sense of control for me than I've ever had in my life. And you know, being in control of your own life is a relatively new experience for me. I don't have anyone to answer to. I am an adult. I feel like an adult. I don't feel like a child, and I don't feel like people treat me like a child anymore. And that is a new thing for me, and it is uncomfortable. And I found that the only way to grow with these scenarios is exposure, especially for the things that do make you feel uncomfortable. After all, the only person that has to like you is you. So I need to work on that whole people-pleasing mentality that I have. And, you know, I can't control what other people think, but I can control what I think and how I act. And I do get comments sometimes like, do you think Corey would like that? But like, this has nothing to do with him. I don't have to do everything to please my partner or anybody else for that matter. And I so infrequently do things to please myself that I think this is important, and this was the moment for me. And maybe you're also looking to change some things in your life. Maybe you're looking for anything and everything you can change in your life right now. Perhaps that's just a way of your subconscious telling you that you need a little bit more control in your life. And no, you don't have to do anything drastic or permanent like I did, but you can choose to do something small. You can choose to get a haircut. You can choose to redecorate your space. You can choose to cook or whatever, because you know, you're an independent person. I think what we can all do a little bit better at is paying attention to the things that we can control, because a lot of things are outside of our control. And we don't really like that. We don't like it when things are outside of our control. We don't like it when we are told what to do, or we don't have any say in something that happens in our lives. But we can choose how we react to it. I know it's a therapy answer, but I think that's probably the deeper thing going on in my life right now. Is I felt like my life was a little boring, and I felt like it wasn't happening or doing enough to make it exciting or fun. I decided that I could do something about that. I could do something I've always wanted to do and celebrate a fun moment for myself. Instead of saying, oh, boo-hoo, my life is boring, you know, I did something. And maybe it's not even you have to do anything about it. Maybe it's just you can change your perspective on things. That's something you can control as well. Like driving to work in the morning and getting frustrated by the morning traffic, or something dumb your coworker said or did, or something you have to fix because somebody screwed something up. Yeah, I would be mad too. You can either choose to focus on that anger, or you can choose to focus on something, I don't know, maybe a little bit more life-giving. Like having, oh man, there were these scones that I would get sometimes on my drive to work at a coffee shop. They were the best. And you know, that made it easier for me. That was something I could control. That was something I could do. And it was simple. But I think it was simple in the fact that I could change my perspective on what I focused on. Instead of focusing on the bad day of work ahead of me, I could focus on, okay, I'm starting my day differently. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you're not always going to have control of everything. And some people are going to make a lot of decisions for you. In some ways, they're going to decide that you're a certain way, you're shy, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. And you know what? That's theirs. Whatever. That doesn't have to be true. You can control how you see it and what you do about it. So if you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I release a new video every week on Fridays, and I'd like to know, what are some things that you do when you don't feel like you're in control? What do you do to take your power back? Yeah, I'm curious. So cheers, and I will catch you next time.